Hey squad, Sykes here and welcome back to another Halo Infinite video here on InstallationX. Today I'm going to be talking about 343's recent blog post over on Halo Waypoint, which is kind of attempting to address some of the questions and queries that the Halo community has had over the past couple of days since the Halo Infinite gameplay reveal at the Xbox showcase in July. So what I decided I'd do is I'd go through, talk through the blog post itself, kind of break down what's being said and try and give my general thoughts and opinions on what's been said so far. So starting off, the biggest question and concern was obviously about graphics and visuals, and this has been directly addressed, well, kind of directly addressed in this blog. So I will explain basically what's been said by Unisec over on Halo Waypoint. So he said, first we want to acknowledge that yes, we've heard the feedback coming from parts of the community regarding the visuals in Halo Infinite campaign demo. While we see and hear far more positive than negative, we do want to share a bit more context. From our perspective, there are two key areas being debated around the community: overall art style and visual fidelity. Based on our learnings from Halo 4, Halo 5 and Halo Wars 2, along with strong community feedback, we decided to shift back towards the legacy aesthetics that defined the original trilogy, which I very much approve of. With Halo Infinite, we're returning to a more classic art style, which was a key message going back to the very first reveal that garnered enthusiastic and positive responses. This translates to a more vibrant palette, cleaner models and objects with less noise, though it doesn't mean less detail. While we appreciate this may not be to everyone's personal preference, we stand by this decision and are happy to see it resonating with so many fans around the world. I, for one, am very happy with the art style that they have gone with for Halo Infinite. The second theme being discussed involves visual fidelity. Negative feedback in this area includes comments around characters and objects appearing flat, simplistic and plastic light, lighting feeling dull and flat and object popping. We've read your comments, we've seen the homemade examples and retouch content, and yes, we've heard the Digital Foundry assessments. In many ways, we are in agreement here. We do have work to do to address some of these areas and raise the level of fidelity and overall presentation for the final game. The build used to run the campaign demo was a work in progress from several weeks ago, with a variety of graphical elements and game systems still being finished and polished. While some of the feedback was expected and speaks to areas already in progress, other aspects of the feedback have brought new opportunities and considerations to light that the team is taking very seriously and working to assess. We don't have firm answers or outcomes to share with you yet, but the team is working as quickly as possible on plans to address some of the feedback around detail, clarity and overall fidelity. The team is committed and focused to making sure we have a beautiful world for players to explore when we launch. And that, for me, squad, is the very, very key detail right at the end when we launch. They're clearly trying to do as much as they possibly can to get this in a great position graphically, so that when it launches, it's going to look great. And we're not going to need several patches to fix the graphics of the game once it launches. They're obviously committed to sorting it out at launch. Obviously, they've not gone into great detail about a lot of the ins and outs of what they are going to be doing and specifically what they're going to be polishing. I think they're potentially they're head down trying to work that through, and they're also trying to take on feedback from some of the new stuff that's been showcased. But I still have faith in 343 to get some of these graphical issues rectified. Obviously, I had my own personal opinions on the graphics. I thought, although I love the overall art style and I love the overall look of the game, they still need to polish it and fix some of the things. And I mentioned that on my Let's Talk Halo Infinite graphics video that I'll link above if you want to go check that out. I won't spread or go over the same thing again. But I think it's important that they are clearly taking notice, they are clearly listening, and hopefully they will get everything sorted for launch. But I'm still cautiously optimistic that this will be absolutely fine by the time we get to launch, which is good. The question is, what about a multiplayer beta/flighting? The Xbox Game Showcase was only meant to focus on Halo Infinite's campaign. However, I can't blame you all for being curious about the multiplayer experience. As Chris Lee mentioned in his blog, which accompanied the demo last week, our original plans for large-scale flighting aren't where we originally intended, in large part due to the challenges of working from home during the COVID-19. That's absolutely fine, I understand that. At this time, we're honestly not sure what is going to be possible in terms of flighting, but we still hope to have an opportunity for broader public hands-on before release. And as we've previously stated, we'll be relying on flighting and continued feedback and community partnership well beyond launch as we grow and evolve the game together. This is very vague, but unfortunately, if they have been really upended by the COVID-19 pandemic, and that's really going to put the beta and flighting issues into kind of wider focused, and we can't really do much about it, which is a shame. I would have loved a beta. I did kind of speak a while ago on the channel about the problems that they would have had with doing a beta regardless, especially if the beta was going to have to be on the Xbox One and not on the Series X. But hopefully, insiders will hear more, and they'll start leaning on some of the pillars of the community a bit more. But yeah, we can't really do much about that one at the moment, which is a shame. What happened to Cortana, The Created, Blue Team, Fireteam Osiris, Lasky, UNSC Infinity, Halsey, Arbiter, and Aatrox? What is Harbinger? So that's obviously all the questions that people have got narratively left over from Halo 5, because they have got a lot of loose ends to tie up, and I've mentioned this previously as well. So last week we showed a mission that takes place several hours into the campaign. During the conclusion of that small slice, we introduced War Chief Escharum, who defeated the UNSC forces at the ring and is eager for the next challenge. To see what led up to that moment and what comes after, you'll need to play Halo Infinite's campaign. As many of you know, I'm super opposed to spoilers, and loading up all the answers in a trailer/demo would just be poor form. Rest assured, many of your questions will be answered in time just by playing the game. Now, my query around this is, are they really going to be able to tie up all of those loose ends in just the Infinite campaign as it stands right now? Because I don't think they will. I think they're going to tie up the main ones, hopefully, especially around Cortana, The Created, and Blue Team in particular, and hopefully the Infinity. But I don't know if they're going to be able... I don't think Aatrox is going to be in Halo Infinite. I don't think he's going to be in Halo Infinite yet. I think Chief is potentially going to defeat Escharum, and then that's going to force Aatrox onto the ring, and that will then be what will come later. Either as... I don't think we're going to get campaign DLC, per se, because DLC just seems like it's an additional add-on. I think the idea of Halo Infinite being a platform is that we're going to get more regular, big story drops that are just going to come later on down the line. So instead of us having to wait, 3 to 5 years for an entire new game, it might that we get new campaigns like every year or every 2 years, which would be really, really cool. So I don't think Aatrox is going to necessarily get summed up in this game, but hopefully they'll at least address the majority of the leftovers from Halo 5, which would be very good, because I don't want these characters to be ditched, because at the end of the day, I thought Escherum's writing was great, I thought the pilot's writing was great, and Chief's writing was great in this demo, so hopefully they can rectify some of the wrongs that they made with some of the writing and the character development in Halo 5 for a lot of these characters, and bring them back to being awesome, which is what they should have been in the first place. Then there was a question, how do you pronounce Escharum? There you go. Who are the voice actors playing the pilot and Escharum? They sound familiar. We're thrilled and lucky to welcome 2 incredible actors to the Halo family, Nicholas Roy as the pilot and Darren DePaul as banished War Chief Escharum. Will we get a chance to play that campaign demo? Yes! When the game comes out, you'll be able to play this space and take out the banished anti-aircraft turrets with a cheeky smiley face. Yeah, if you want to play the demo, play the game. Are there kill barriers or return to battlefield zones in campaign? This is one a lot of people have been asking about, especially if they're kind of questioning how really open world it is and how far you're actually able to go. So since we wanted to allow players to explore and get creative with their engagement, we've tried to reduce these as much as possible in Halo Infinite. There will always be some exceptions, but usually if you can see it, you should be able to go there. They've been really, really pushing that narrative, so hopefully that is the case. What about split screen and co-op? Campaign will support 2-player split screen and online 4-player co-op. Yes, you can play on your couch with a friend. That's awesome, love that. Is there a battle rifle in Halo Infinite? I didn't see one in the campaign demo. Yes, if you check out the campaign gameplay trailer, watch closely and you'll catch a glimpse of the BR-75, or 75. We'll share more details later. Right, and then the big one, in my opinion. The new BK-50 Sidekick and the CQS-48 Bulldog look cool. Will there be other pistols or shotguns in the game? So, we're excited to build on Halo's legacy sandbox while also introducing new components to further evolve and expand gameplay experiences. The MK-50 Sidekick and CQS-48 Bulldog are brand new weapons that bring something different for players to sink their teeth into. The Sidekick is a true sidearm pistol that is lightning fast to draw and fire, truly excelling as a reliable backup when your primary weapon is depleted as a brute is bearing down on you. Compared to previous titles, this weapon is closest to Halo 2's version of the Magnum. The Bulldog is a pump-action shotgun that is punchy and decently accurate, trading slightly lower damage, 12 gauge versus 8 gauge, for a much tighter rate of fire. Players will be better equipped to dispatch multiple targets quickly, and the Bulldog provides more playstyle opportunities for shotgun aficionados. Oh, I think that's how you say it. There are additional variants of these, but the classic Magnum and tactical shotgun aren't currently featured in Halo Infinite. I'll touch on this in a sec. As we look beyond launch, we have robust plans to continue evolving the game, which will include further additions to Halo Infinite Sandbox. We understand some players won't be thrilled over the prospects of different pistols and shotguns, but we encourage you to keep an open mind, and we look forward to everyone getting hands-on perspective with these new weapons when the time comes. That is a big call, because a lot of, die-hard members of the community are kind of pissed at this. And I do get it and I don't get it at the same time. I understand, like, you want your staples to remain in the game and for new additions to supplement those classic items like the Magnum, like the shotgun, the assault rifle, the BR. I particularly love the carbine, so if the pulse carbine is going to replace the carbine, I'm going to be a little bit gutted about that. Yet at the same time, I personally don't have a real connection to any of the actual weapons themselves, because Halo Sandbox has continuously been redesigned, chopped and changed. They've dropped guns, they've added guns, so many of the actual weapons have very rarely actually stayed in the game long term. And maybe, if I can think about it, like the sniper rifle has obviously, the AR, the Magnum, Bungie even dropped the battle rifle completely from Reach and replaced it with the DMR. Like, for me, I just kind of take what I get given and I run with it, and I see whether it sticks with me or not. There are some guns that I loved Halo 5's Magnum. I thought Halo 5's Magnum was awesome, and I've gone back recently and played Halo Reach on Legendary as part of the MCC, and the Magnum in that game I really don't like, and I really do not like the Magnum in Halo 3. The Magnum in Halo 3 sucks. So guns in Halo are always adapting and they're always evolving, so I'm not too hung up on this. At the end of the day, I will play the game and I will come away with the conclusion of, yes, I like those new weapons, or no, I didn't. The idea of they're saying that we are continuing to evolving the game, which will include further additions to the Halo Infinite Sandbox. I would not be surprised if at some point down the line, the Magnum and the shotgun get added as backups to say, look, we want you to have time with these new weapons, but additionally, they're not always going to sit well with people. We can add in the classic weapons later on down the line. They did that with Halo 5. They added in the SP NKR rocket launcher, or the Spanker rocket launcher, over the rocket launcher they had in Halo 5. They added in the Reach grenade launcher. They added in other legacy weapons, both Covenant and UNSC, as part of the rec system. So I understand why people might be annoyed by this, but for me, I'm okay with it. We'll see how it goes. How will the new grapple hook work in multiplayer? Equipment items like the grapple shot function differently in multiplayer and will be available as items that can be picked up on the map. This is awesome. I love this because it brings back the idea of the sandbox and fighting for the power weapons, fighting for the pickups, fighting for position. This sounds great. Love it. We've heard 4K 60 FPS. Is that the best you can do even on PC? Harsh question, I thought. To clarify, up to 4K 60 frames per second is our target for our expansive campaign experience on Xbox Series X. As PC players expect, there will be plenty of settings that you can tweak to create the experience you want, and we'll have even more details on that in the coming months. Speaking of PC, is it true Halo Infinite will be coming to Steam? Yes, Halo Infinite will be available on PC via Xbox Game Pass for PC, the Microsoft Store, and Steam, in addition to Xbox Series X and the entire Xbox One family of consoles. Will difficulty settings such as easy, normal, heroic, and legendary still exist in the expansive campaign? Yes. Just like previous Halos, you will be able to choose your preferred difficulty in the menu before beginning your adventure. It sounds like, from what Chris Lee has previously said, that they've designed the game for heroic, and then they've just scaled it down for normal and easy, or they've just scaled it up for legendary. So I very rarely just go into a campaign and play it legendary straight away. I normally play through it on normal and heroic, usually heroic first, kind of get all that narrative sink in, and then I'll usually go back and play the campaigns on legendary for that difficulty challenge, because I will die a lot. But yeah, so that's good to hear. Who created the music in the campaign demo? We're excited to welcome 3 new composers to the Halo family who are all contributing to an amazing soundtrack for Halo Infinite. Much of what was heard in the demo comes from Gareth Crocker. Check out the interview from earlier this week. There's another Halo Infinite blog post. I'll leave the link in the description. And listen to an official track, Set a Fire in Your Heart, which in my opinion is absolutely fucking awesome. I love that soundtrack. It's so good. What about multiplayer, Forge, theatre, ranking system, esports and everything else? Last week we wanted to focus solely on campaign. We'll touch on all of the other aspects of our game in the coming months, though we have already confirmed the return of a new and improved Forge and some very exciting plans for the next era of Halo esports in our What's Next for HCS blog and our esports engine partnership announce. Then we get to the awesome bit. How's Craig? So hopefully by now, if you're a Halo fan, you would have probably touched on the Craig meme that came out. It was the still shot of the brute that Master Chief punched in the face, and it's gone, like, it's set a fire in our hearts as a meme, pun intended, because it's been brilliant. We've all laughed very hard at the non-stop stream of Craig memes the community is cranking out. Craig is thick-skinned and seems to be taking it in his stride, though all of this fame and attention seems to be going to his head. I love the fact that they've addressed that. That's great. And then they go into some more, and let's not forget the long-running list of other confirmed aspects of Halo Infinite. So in-universe timing, it follows the Master Chief story sometime after Halo 5 Guardian's conclusion. Pro team, we've assembled an internal pro team for Halo Infinite. Split screen, yes, split screen will be a thing. LAN, so Halo Infinite will support LAN. Back to black undersuits will be in the game. Microtransactions, this one's interesting. Halo Infinite will not include real money loot boxes. So that means seemingly the rec system is dead. RIP. Player customization, if you like the level armor customization options in Halo Reach, you'll be pleased. SR 152, players who hit SR or Spartan rank 152 in Halo 5 Guardians will receive a token of appreciation in Halo Infinite. I better get grinding on Halo 5 again, because I'm on 142, I think. Forge, our famous editing tool, will be in Halo Infinite and will have undo and redo buttons, which is the first time for Forge. And that pretty much sums up everything 343 has talked about. I know the video went on a little bit longer, the blog post, but I thought it was interesting to kind of go through all the details. Again, I know there's been a lot of criticism in the community, and I know a lot of people have their varying opinions on where Halo Infinite is at the moment. I'm leaning more on the positive side. There's an overwhelming majority of things I'm way more happy about than things I'm kind of down about. Everyone's going to have their personal preference. They're going to have the things they like, the things they don't like, but at the end of the day, I'm in a happy position right now leading into Halo Infinite's launch. I still need to see multiplayer. That's very, very important, and how they're going to handle that and manage that. But at the end of the day, I'm feeling very good at where Halo Infinite is at the moment. As always, if you agree or disagree, then let me know in the comments section. Don't forget that if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a like, you head over to InstallationX and subscribe, and you hit that bell for notifications for more Xbox content. And as always, I'm Sykes, and for more on Halo Infinite and all things Xbox, stay tuned to InstallationX. Bye guys.